Imagine finding a tiny coin in your pocket. Change could be worth not just pennies, but hundreds, thousands, or even millions of pounds. Today, we counting down the top 5 most valuable UK Elizabeth V new pence coins. What most people see as small change could actually be a life-changing discovery hiding in plain sight. What looks like an ordinary 1968 UK Elizabeth V new pence coin. But wait, something is. Maybe it struck off center, maybe it has a double image, or maybe it even shows a minting mistake so rare that collectors would pay tens of thousands or even millions of pounds to own it. Stay with me until the very end of this video, because and the shocking values these coins can sell for, ranging from hundreds to thousands, or even millions of pounds. The background. To understand why the 1968 5 new pence is so special, we need to step back to the late 1960s. The UK was preparing for one of the biggest monetary changes in its history, the move from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to a new decimal currency. Up until then, money in Britain had been calculated in a complicated system of 240 pence to a pound, but in 1968, the government began issuing the very first decimal coins in preparation for Decimal Day, which would officially arrive in February 1971. Double strikes, £5,000 to £20,000. Clipped planchets, £1,000 to £10,000. How to identify a valuable error coin, if you have a 1968 5 new pence. Here are some tips to check for value. Examine the edges. Look for off-center designs, missing inscriptions, or clipped areas. Look at the portrait and thistle. Any doubling, fading, or missing details could be a sign of a minting error. Check the metal. If it feels lighter, heavier, or a different color than normal, it could be struck on the wrong planchet. Condition matters. Coins with fewer scratches and in higher grades are always more valuable. If you suspect you have a rare error, always get it authenticated by a professional grading service before selling. Shocking values. What are they worth? Here's where the excitement really builds. Depending on the type of error, a 1968 5 new pence coin could be worth, normal circulation coin, £1,000 to £5,000. Minor off-center strike, £500 to £700. Major off-center or double strike, £8,000 to £20,000. Clipped planchet, £1,000 to £10,000. Wrong planchet error, £50,000 to £60,000. Unique proof or trial piece released in error, potentially £1 million or more at auction. That's right, what looks like a small, everyday coin could actually be worth more than a house, a luxury car, or even a retirement fund. Stories of rare decimal coin finds. There have been several cases where ordinary people discovered error coins worth life-changing sums. A collector once found a wrong planchet decimal coin in loose change and later sold it for tens of thousands at auction. Another lucky finder spotted a double strike error that fetched thousands online. The lesson: always check your coins carefully, especially those from transitional years like 1968. The future of the 1968 5 new pence. As time goes on, error coins from the early decimal period are only becoming scarcer. Many were melted down or lost, and those that remain in collector hands are rising in value. Experts predict that in the next 10-20 years, the market for these coins could explode, with more examples fetching 6- or even 7-figure sums. So if you own one, hold on to it or at least get it professionally valued. The 1970 UK Elizabeth V new pence coin, and without knowing it you could be holding a tiny piece of metal worth not just hundreds, not just thousands, but potentially hundreds of thousands or even millions of pounds. Yes, you heard that right. What looks like a common 5p coin could secretly be one of the rarest and most valuable error coins in British history. And today, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know: the history, the designs, the errors, and most importantly, the shocking values these coins can sell for at auction. The history of the 5 new pence coin. The United Kingdom was undergoing massive changes in the late 1960s. Britain was preparing for decimalisation, the biggest overhaul of its currency system in over 1,000 years. Until then, the country had been using the centuries-old system of pounds, shillings, and pence. But by 1971, everything was about to change. Enter the decimal system we use today. The coin was designed to replace the old 1 shilling piece, and to make the transition easier for the public, both coins circulated together. Why the 1975 new pence is so special. Unlike most coins, the 1975 new pence wasn't made for your pocket change. The Royal Mint only struck them in limited numbers for collectors, as part of the last pre-decimal proof sets. That already makes the 1970 issue scarcer than your average circulation coin. But here's the twist: error coins from this year are where the true treasure lies. Error coins are mistakes made during the minting process: double strikes, off-centers, wrong planchets, misaligned dies, missing details, or even mismatched designs. While the mint has strict quality control, sometimes these slips escape, and when they do, they can transform an ordinary coin into an extraordinary rarity. And for the 1975 new pence, some error varieties have been reported that make this already rare coin shoot into the stratosphere in value. Auction values: just how much can they sell for? Now the question everyone's waiting for: how much are these coins really worth? Let's set the stage. A standard 1970 proof set, containing the 5 new pence, sells today for around £2,000 to £4,000. Nothing too exciting there. But when you take a rare error 1975p, the story changes completely. Minor striking errors: £3,000 to £5,000. Major off-centers or double strikes: £1,000 to £5,000. Proof errors: missing detail, misstrikes: £5,000 to £25,000. Mule errors or wrong planchet coins: £45,000 to £57,000. Unique errors: if the right buyer and the right auction come along, prices could even hit £500,000 to £1 million. It sounds unbelievable, but history proves it. Rare error coins consistently shatter expectations at auctions. Collectors with deep pockets are always chasing the next rarity, and when supply is this tiny, the sky is the limit. Why collectors love it? So why does this coin stir so much excitement among collectors? Historical significance: it's the last year before Decimal Day, part of a major turning point in British history. Limited issue: never struck for circulation, only for sets, making them rarer to begin with. Error rarity: errors from proof coins are exceptionally unusual. Royal connection coins featuring young Queen Elizabeth II are always in demand. Investment potential: as more collectors hunt for decimal era rarities, values continue to rise. The future value of 1970 era 5p coins: the market for rare British coins is booming. With each passing year, more collectors are entering the hobby, while the supply of genuine era coins remains fixed or even shrinks as pieces vanish into private collections. This means the trajectory is clear: prices are going up. What might sell for £10,000 today could be £50,000 in a decade. And if a spectacular discovery, say, a 1975p struck on the wrong planchet, hits the market, it could set a record that shocks the entire coin collecting world. What to do if you find one? Check your proof sets. If you or your family own a 1970 proof set, take a close look at the 5p. Use a magnifying glass and good lighting. Look for errors: off-centers, doubling, missing detail, unusual colors or weights. Weigh the coin. If it doesn't match the standard weight of 5.65 grams, you may have a wrong planchet error. Don't clean it. Never polish or clean coins. It can destroy their value. Seek expert advice. If you think you found something rare, show it to a reputable coin dealer or auction house. Today, we're diving deep into the incredible story of the 1971 UK Elizabeth V new pence coin, a coin that marked a turning point in British coinage history. But here's the twist: while millions of these coins were minted for everyday use, a select few carry striking errors that make them some of the rarest and most valuable in the entire world of numismatics. So, grab your magnifying glass, hold on to your seat, and stick with me until the end of this video, because you're about to discover exactly which features, errors, the background. To understand why the 1971 5 new pence coin is so special, we first need to travel back to a historic moment in British history: the decimalisation of currency. Before 1971, Britain used the old system of pounds, shillings, and pence, a system that had been around for centuries but was notoriously complicated. In February 1971, the UK officially switched to a decimal system, where 100 new pence made up a pound. Why error coins are so valuable? When a mint produces coins, the goal is perfection: every detail struck clearly, every design perfectly aligned. But mistakes happen. Dies can crack, misalign, or strike improperly. Planchets. The blank discs coins are struck on can be the wrong size, wrong metal, or improperly prepared. For collectors, these mistakes are like winning lottery tickets. The rarer the error, the higher the value. And in the case of the 1971 5 new pence, some of these errors are so unique and so rare that they are valued in the hundreds of thousands, and in some extreme cases, even millions of pounds at auction. The most valuable errors: coin, double-struck error. £10,000 to £50,000. Off-center strike error, £25,000 to £34,000. Die clash error, £5,000 to £20,000. Record auction sales and market value. So, what do these coins actually sell for in the real world? Auction houses like Spink and DNW in the UK, as well as international numismatic auctioneers, have seen 1971 era 5 new pence coins sell for eye-watering amounts. A rare double-struck example sold for nearly £30,000. An off-center strike with nearly half the design missing sold for £75,000. And although not often publicly recorded, whispers in the collecting community suggest that private sales of unique wrong planchet and mule errors have gone into the hundreds of thousands, even brushing 7 figures. This means that what looks like just another small coin in your old change jar could actually be a life-changing treasure. How to identify a rare 1971 5 new pence era coin? So how do you know if you have one of these valuable rarities? Here are a few tips. Check for doubling. Look closely at the Queen's profile or the lettering. If you see shadowy outlines or doubling, you may have a double-struck coin. Look for misalignment. Is the design perfectly centered? If not, you could have an off-center strike worth thousands. Examine the metal. Does the coin look different in color or weight? If so, it might be struck on the wrong planchet. Check for clashes. Strange, faint outlines of the opposite design could indicate a die clash. Look for the impossible. A mismatched reverse design could signal a mule error, the rarest and most valuable of all. Always compare your coin to standard examples, and if you suspect you found something special, have it verified by a professional grading service. Why collectors love the 1971 5 new pence. Historical significance. It was the first year of decimalization, making it a landmark coin. Error potential. The rush to produce millions of coins led to mistakes, and those mistakes are now worth fortunes. Nostalgia. For many, this coin represents a moment of massive change in Britain's history, making it desirable beyond its monetary value. This combination of history, rarity, and sheer excitement makes the 1971 5 new pence one of the most collectible modern UK coins. Final thoughts: could you have one of these rare 1971 era coins hiding in your collection, or even in your old piggy bank? Remember, most 1971 5 new pence coins are common and worth only face value. But the rare era versions, the double strikes, off-center strikes, wrong planchets, die clashes, and especially the mules, can fetch values from hundreds of pounds to well over £1 million. This is why collectors and treasure hunters continue to search tirelessly for these small but mighty coins. Yes, I'm talking about the 1978 UK Elizabeth 5 new pence coin, a coin that many people still think of as ordinary change, but when you find the right error or rare strike, its value skyrockets into the realm of life-changing money. Collectors across the world are hunting for this coin. Auction houses have seen shocking bids, and in some cases, a single coin has fetched amounts that leave collectors speechless. So don't blink, because video will uncover the untold story, history, and the most valuable errors. The background. To understand why the 1978 5 new pence coin is so special, we need to go back to the history of Britain's coinage. In 1971, the UK officially switched to decimal currency, retiring the old shillings and pence system. The 5 new pence was introduced as part of this bold new era, effectively replacing the old shilling. At first, the coin was large and heavy, with a diameter of 23.59 mm and a cupronickel composition. It featured Queen Elizabeth on the obverse, the second decimal portrait by Arnold Machin. Auction records and shocking values. Let's talk numbers. A high-grade, ordinary 1978 5p might only fetch around £1,000 to £5,000. But a dramatic off-center error has been seen selling at £600 to £1,200. Double strike examples can sell for £2,000 or more if visually impressive. Wrong planchet errors like being struck on a foreign blank are incredibly rare. One example of a UK 5p error like this fetched nearly £15,000 at auction. Trial or proof errors, in gem condition, have shocked collectors with price tags in the hundreds of thousands. And here's where it gets wild. Some numismatists suggest that if a unique one-of-a-kind 1978 5p experimental error were to surface, it could set records pushing into the million-pound territory. That's the kind of number that makes collectors and investors pay attention. Why are these errors worth so much? Now you might ask, why would anyone pay a fortune for a small mistake on a coin? The answer lies in three things: scarcity, demand, and story. Scarcity error coins are often unique or produced in tiny numbers. The 1978 5p was minted in the millions, but the rare errors may only exist in single-digit quantities. Demand collectors worldwide are obsessed with finding the one that got away. Error coins tell a story of the minting process going wrong, and that's fascinating. Story: every great coin carries a story. The 1978 errors tell a tale of Britain's coinage in transition, of mint machinery mishaps, and of chance accidents that created priceless treasures. How to identify a rare 1978 error 5 new pence. So if you're checking your coin collection or your old jars of change, what should you look for? Check for off-center strikes as part of the design missing or shifted. Look for ghosting or doubling two images where there should only be one. Test for wrong metal errors. Does the coin look too light, too heavy, or the wrong color? Check the alignment. Flip the coin over. Does the reverse line up with the obverse? Look for unusual finishes, proof like shine or patterns that look different from circulation strikes. Even a minor error can add serious value. Final thoughts: the 1978 UK Elizabeth II 5 new pence coin may seem ordinary, but rare errors make it extraordinary. Some are worth hundreds, others thousands, and the rarest examples could push into hundreds of thousands or even millions of pounds. If you've got one of these coins, check it carefully because you might just be holding a small fortune. And remember, in the world of coins, it's often the mistakes, the errors that make them truly priceless. The 1979 UK Elizabeth 5 new pence coin. It feels light in your hand, shiny yet worn like any other. But what if I told you that same little coin, barely the size of a button, could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions of pounds, all because of a rare minting mistake hidden in plain sight? Yes, you heard me right. One small error on a coin that most people ignored in their pockets during the late 1970s could change its fate from a mere 5p to a life-changing fortune. The background: to understand why the 1979 5 new pence coin can be so rare, we need to go back a little. The 5 new pence coin was first introduced in 1968, 2 years before Britain's decimalisation in 1971. At the time, it was a brand new design intended to replace the old shilling, but with the same value in the new decimal system. The coin carried the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. Why 1979 is special? While the 5p coin had been around for a decade, 1979 is a standout year. Why? Transition period. Britain was on the brink of change. The early 1980s would bring a shift in coin sizes, as the larger 5p was considered too bulky for circulation. This meant that 1979 marked one of the last years of the original, larger version of the 5 new pence. High minting numbers. With so many coins being produced, the chances of minting errors naturally increased. Notable error discoveries. Collectors have identified rare 1979 coins with misstrikes, double strikes, off-center strikes, and even wrong planchet errors. These mistakes, normally caught by Royal Mint quality control, slipped through in tiny numbers, making them incredibly scarce today. How much are they worth? Now here's the part you've been waiting for. The values. A basic circulated 1979 5p, worth only face value about 5p. A brilliant uncirculated, BU, coin, depending on condition. An off-center strike, £200, £2,000 depending on how dramatic. A double strike, £500 to £5,000. A wrong planchet 1979 5p, £10,000 to £50,000. An extremely rare unique wrong planchet or proof error coin, these are the ones that could reach into the hundreds of thousands. Or even millions of pounds, especially if sold at a prestigious auction where wealthy collectors fight for ownership. Imagine, a coin you once dismissed as loose change could actually buy you a luxury car, a home, or even secure your retirement. How to identify one? Now, if you're watching this and wondering, could I have one of these in my collection? Here's what to check. Look closely at the edges. Is the coin perfectly round, or is it clipped? Check the strike. Are the designs perfectly centered, or do they look off? Examine for doubling. Do you see a shadow or double image on the Queen's portrait or the reverse thistle? Weigh the coin. A normal 1979 5p weighs 5.65 grams. If yours is significantly lighter or heavier, it could be struck on the wrong planchet. Check the shine. If it looks unusually proof-like, it may be a trial strike. If you spot something unusual, don't dismiss it. Have it authenticated by a reputable coin grading service like NGC or PCGS. Why collectors love it? So why does the 1979 era 5p capture so much attention? Because it's a perfect storm, a common coin from everyday life, a rare mistake that slipped through the cracks. A piece of history tied to Queen Elizabeth II's reign and a symbol of Britain's decimal transition. It reminds us that even in the most ordinary objects, there can be hidden treasures.